The laughter stopped in one sharp moment. A shared shower suggestion landed flat, Daniel said no, and the room went cold. What followed shocked viewers because the scene felt raw, shaky, and too real for comfort. So why did TLC keep the cameras rolling? Lisa walked into the apartment expecting closeness and reassurance. The mood already felt off. Voices stayed low. Eye contact broke early. Then came the ask, framed as comfort rather than romance. Daniel declined with calm words and steady tone. No yelling, no insult. The refusal stayed polite. Lisa's reaction flipped fast. Breath quickened. Voice cracked. Questions spilled out about attraction and rejection. Viewers watched a spiral unfold without music cues or playful edits. The silence felt loud. The scene did not read like playful drama. The scene read like distress. Stay with this moment, because the shift right here changes everything later. Fans noticed something strange. The network did not soften the edges. The edit lingered. No cutaway. No confessional to smooth the tension. Cameras stayed close while discomfort filled the room. Reality TV often leans on awkwardness for laughs. This time, laughter never arrived. Viewers leaned forward, not to enjoy the mess, but to check on a person. Comments poured in within minutes. Many asked why help did not step in. Many asked why a private moment stayed public. This reaction felt different from routine chaos. Longtime watchers know tantrums, tears, and blow-ups. Those moments come with rhythm and payoff. This scene lacked both. No villain edit, no wink, no punchline. The moment looked like panic, at least in my opinion, and panic does not belong on a set built for entertainment. The choice to keep filming raised eyebrows. The choice to air the footage raised alarms. Notice how fun fades and concern takes over without warning. Context matters. Lisa entered the season with familiar energy, intense love, high hopes, big emotions, the kind of cast presence audiences expect. Early scenes leaned into optimism. Plans sounded sincere. Chemistry felt possible. Then tone shifted fast. The return home carried weight. The apartment felt small. Silence hung heavy. When rejection arrived, the response landed like a personal collapse rather than a storyline beat. Viewers started asking tougher questions. Why did this reaction hit so hard? Why did reassurance feel urgent rather than desired? Why did production allow a vulnerable moment to stretch without support? People watching did not debate right or wrong. People debated safety and responsibility. The line between entertainment and exposure blurred. Social feeds captured the change. Jokes dried up. Snark paused. Concern replaced commentary. Many wrote about secondhand anxiety. Others shared personal stories about rejection sensitivity and stress responses. No diagnoses surfaced from the show. No labels appeared. Still, the reaction looked human and fragile. Showing fragility without guardrails felt wrong to many. Hold on to this feeling because answers do not arrive soon. Another detail deepened suspicion. TLC offered no on-screen framing to guide viewers. No producer voice. No check-in. No post-scene clarity. The network stayed quiet. Silence invites interpretation. Silence invites doubt. Fans noticed the absence and filled gaps with questions. Why no intervention? Why no follow-up? Why no care moment after the scene? The biggest shock did not live inside the apartment. The shock lived inside the audience response. When viewers stop laughing and start worrying, a show crosses a line. This scene marked the crossing. The reaction spread fast and wide. Threads multiplied. Private groups buzzed. The tone shifted from gossip to ethics. By the end of the episode, one truth settled in. This moment did not start the problem. This moment exposed something older, something building long before cameras rolled. Before that apartment scene flipped the tone, Lisa arrived the way many 90-day cast members do. Big feelings up front, open heart. A little intense, but hopeful. She spoke about love with urgency, like time mattered. Viewers recognized the type. Someone who feels deeply and fast. Someone who believes effort fixes distance. That energy usually fuels drama, not concern. Early edits leaned into that familiarity. Smiles. Planning. The promise of a fresh start. Even her intensity felt expected. Reality TV rewards bold emotion. The louder the feeling, the more screen time follows. Lisa fit the formula. Nothing about her intro suggested danger or risk. She looked invested. She looked human. This is where perception begins to slide, so keep watching closely. Then the shift came quick. The return home did not land with celebration. Silence-filled scenes where excitement should live. Small moments felt heavy. Body language closed off. When the rejection scene hit, viewers realized the tone had already changed before a word was spoken. The reaction felt bigger than the moment. That contrast triggered unease. From a human angle, rejection hits differently under stress. Cameras add pressure. Travel drains energy. Expectations pile up. When reassurance fails, emotions stack fast. Some people spiral inward. Others look outward for proof. Lisa's response read like someone overwhelmed rather than someone performing. No theatrics, no smirk, just urgency. This does not require labels or theories. People react to rejection in messy ways. Stress shortens patience. Fear sharpens responses. Watching it unfold felt intimate. Too intimate for a show built on spectacle. Humor faded because the pain felt unfiltered. Notice how empathy replaces judgment in real time. Production choices amplified the discomfort. The edit stayed tight. Confessionals offered little relief. Usually producers frame emotion with context or humor. Here, context stayed thin. The moment stood alone. Viewers questioned whether editing softened anything or showed the full weight. No one knew. Fans also noticed pacing changes earlier in the season. Scenes cut short. Conversations dropped. Emotional beats introduced without resolution. Those choices matter. Editing tells viewers how to feel. When edits feel abrupt, trust erodes. People start wondering if something sits off screen. A light touch of humor still surfaced online. Some joked about awkward moments. Yet the jokes fell flat fast. Laughter requires distance. This scene closed the gap. Many viewers recognized stress patterns they had lived through. That recognition quieted snark. This is the point where curiosity turns into concern. The question shifted from personality to preparedness. Was Lisa ready for filming pressure? Did producers spot warning signs earlier? Did the show push through because footage matters? None of these questions accuse. They probe responsibility. Reality TV blurs lines between documenting and provoking. When emotion tips into distress, the line matters. Another factor deepened the question mark. Lisa did not lean into villain energy. She did not deflect blame loudly. She looked hurt and confused. That vulnerability changed audience posture. Viewers protect vulnerability. They do not roast it. Comparisons surfaced with past seasons. Fans recalled moments when TLC stepped in quietly. Scenes edited down. Cast members faded out. Those memories fueled suspicion. When a network has patterns, audiences read them. Through all this, Lisa stayed mostly quiet. No explosive online defense. No extended breakdown. Silence can signal many things. It can mean processing. It can mean guidance from advisors. It can mean nothing. Silence also leaves space for projection. Hold on to that silence, because it grows louder soon. By the end of this stretch, viewers no longer watched for drama payoffs. They watched with caution. The show felt uncomfortable instead of entertaining. That feeling does not arrive by accident. It builds. And once it settles in, it changes everything that follows. The episode ended, and something strange happened online. The usual jokes did not land. The memes slowed. The roast threads stalled out. Instead, comment sections filled with a different tone. People asked about duty of care. People asked about boundaries. People asked why the network let a moment like that breathe without support. When audiences stop laughing, networks should start worrying. Reddit lit up within hours. Long posts replaced one-liners. Users compared notes. Some rewatched the scene frame by frame. Others pointed out how the edit lingered without relief. A few longtime fans said they felt uneasy recommending the show to friends for the first time. That matters. Viewer trust sits at the center of reality TV. Once trust cracks, the entire setup shakes. If you felt the mood shift online, You were not alone. The conversation moved fast from Lisa to TLC. People asked why the network stayed silent. No statement, no context, no reassurance. Silence works in some cases. Silence also invites suspicion. Fans remembered past controversies across the franchise. They remembered quiet removals. They remembered edits that slowly erased people without explanation. History trains viewers to read patterns. Promotion choices added fuel. Trailers leaned harder on other couples. Group shots looked different depending on the clip. Some viewers claimed Lisa appeared less in teasers compared with earlier weeks. Others argued this was coincidence. Both sides watched closely. When audiences start tracking promo seconds, confidence has already slipped. The storyline itself felt clipped. Scenes arrived and vanished. Emotional setups lacked follow-through. Conversations ended without payoff. Casual viewers might miss it. Seasoned fans noticed. Reality shows thrive on resolution. When arcs dissolve, something interferes. This is where viewers turn into detectives. Comment sections asked direct questions. Why did TLC not address the reaction? Why no check-in scene? Why no producer voice to frame concern? Networks often guide audience interpretation. Here, guidance vanished. That absence spoke louder than any edit choice. To be fair, networks avoid statements during active contracts or reviews. Legal caution shapes silence. Still, fans weigh impact over policy. They see a person struggle on screen. They expect care. When care stays unseen, trust erodes. The tone shift extended beyond fans. Media blogs picked up the chatter. Headlines softened language but echoed concern. The focus moved away from relationship drama and toward ethics. That pivot hurts ratings narratives. It changes who holds pressure. TLC suddenly sat in the hot seat. Notice how quickly power shifts when viewers change the frame. Lisa became almost secondary in these discussions. The bigger question targeted process. How does casting work? How does vetting handle stress? What guardrails exist once filming starts? These questions challenge the genre itself. Reality TV sells authenticity. Authenticity without responsibility turns risky. Some defended the network. They argued adults sign up willingly. They argued viewers see only fragments. Those points matter. Consent exists. Editing shapes reality. Still, consent does not erase duty. Editing does not remove impact. The debate stayed active because both sides held weight. TLC offered no clarification. The quiet stretched. Fans filled gaps with theory. Theory grows fastest in silence. Each new episode aired under a microscope. Each promo frame got scrutiny. Every absence felt intentional. Hold this thought because the quiet is not accidental. By this stage, the story had changed lanes. This was no longer about whether Lisa overreacted. This was about whether the network reacted at all. When silence follows concern, viewers read it as internal damage control. Then the conversation took a turn no one expected. Not from a blogger, not from a spoiler account, from inside the family. Posts attributed to Lisa's sister began circulating online, and the tone shifted from uneasy to stunned. These were not vague comments. These were direct claims. Still, every detail stayed alleged. No proof shared publicly. No documents released. Allegations only. The claims spread fast before limits and deletions followed. Screenshots bounced through private groups. Fans reacted with disbelief. Some refused to engage at all. Others read every line twice. The shock came from proximity. Family voices carry weight. They feel personal. They feel harder to dismiss, even when unproven. This is the point where viewers stopped scrolling and leaned in. According to the posts, the sister alleged a pattern of financial deception involving friends and relatives. Not a one-off, a repeated behavior over time. No dates verified, no names confirmed. The impact mattered more than the specifics. Fans started rewatching scenes with new eyes. Moments once seen as desperation now felt unsettling to some. Context shifted without facts changing. Another claim hit harder. The sister alleged emotional harm involving Lisa's daughter. Again, no evidence shared publicly. No details verified. The mere mention changed the temperature. Viewers draw hard lines around children. Entertainment loses tolerance the moment minors enter allegations. Many fans wrote that this crossed a boundary they could not ignore. Pay attention to how the tone drops when kids enter the frame. The most explosive claim involved an alleged past deception tied to illness and assistance. Serious words. Serious implications. No receipts presented publicly. Fans reacted in extremes. Some accused the sister of clout chasing. Others said the pieces suddenly aligned. Both reactions lived side by side. What mattered was impact, not proof. At every turn, the language stayed careful. Alleged, claimed, unverified. That restraint mattered. The story did not assert truth. It examined fallout. Fallout spread fast. Comment sections filled with fear, anger, and confusion. Many viewers said they felt sick watching earlier episodes again. Others urged caution and fairness. Why did these claims change how scenes felt? Because they reframed vulnerability. Once suspicion enters, empathy collides with doubt. Fans struggled with both. They wanted to protect a person on screen. They also wanted accountability if claims held weight. Hold on to this tension, because it drives everything next. The focus swung back to the network. Why would TLC panic if any part of this proved true? Reputational risk. Ethical scrutiny. Legal exposure. Networks tread carefully around unverified family disputes. Silence often protects against amplification. Silence also fuels speculation. TLC stayed quiet. Some fans defended the choice. Broadcasting allegations risks harm. Others argued silence harms trust. Both sides spoke loudly. The lack of clarity widened the divide. Meanwhile, episodes aired without addressing the storm. Storylines moved forward as if nothing changed. That disconnect unsettled viewers. Lisa herself offered no detailed response, no long defense, no emotional livestream. Some saw restraint as maturity. Others saw legal advice. Silence carries many meanings. None stop speculation. This quiet grows heavier with each passing episode. The allegations did something subtle. They reframed the past. Fans revisited moments searching for signs. Was distress genuine? Was behavior patterned? Or were viewers projecting fear onto fragments? Without proof, answers stayed out of reach. The discomfort lingered. Through all this, one detail stood out. The mention of a child changed everything. Viewers tolerate chaos. Viewers debate editing. Viewers forgive mess. When kids appear in allegations, patience ends. The story shifted from scandal to ethical emergency in the court of public opinion. And right there, the line moved again. The moment a child enters the conversation, everything slows down. Jokes stop completely. Arguments tighten. Viewers draw a line that entertainment cannot cross. It does not matter whether claims are proven or denied. The mention alone flips the moral switch. People who tolerated chaos suddenly demand care. Reality TV survives on conflict between adults. Adults sign contracts. Adults consent to pressure. Children do not. That difference changes tolerance instantly. Fans who once debated edits now debate responsibility. The question stops being who overreacted and becomes who protected who. That shift carries weight. This is where the audience stops being passive and starts judging systems. Longtime TLC viewers remembered precedent. Past seasons showed what happens when minors brush controversy. Storylines fade. Cast members vanish quietly. Episodes get restructured. Networks rarely explain. They adjust. Fans recalled these moments clearly. Memory shapes expectation. When history exists, viewers anticipate patterns. The reaction online turned somber. Parents spoke up. Survivors spoke carefully. People wrote about boundaries rather than drama. Some said they felt complicit just watching. That emotional response matters. When viewers feel guilt, engagement drops or turns hostile. Neither helps a network. Morality shifted in real time. Earlier sympathy for vulnerability collided with fear for a child. Both emotions can coexist. Viewers struggled with that conflict. They wanted to believe the best while preparing for the worst. That tension sat heavy. If you felt uncomfortable continuing the season, that reaction was shared widely. Networks treat child-related controversy differently for a reason. Even unverified claims trigger internal alarms. Legal teams review footage. Ethics teams weigh exposure. Editors reassess arcs. Silence becomes strategy. Not because nothing happens, but because too much might. Fans started asking whether internal review had already begun. They pointed to timing. They noticed how certain scenes felt shortened, how transitions jumped abruptly, how emotional beats ended without follow-up. These details felt subtle, but consistency builds suspicion. Another question emerged. Did editing change earlier than anyone realized? Some viewers rewatched episodes from before the allegations surfaced. They flagged moments where conversations cut off mid-sentence, where tension rose and then vanished. It might mean nothing. It might mean preparation. This is where hindsight rewrites perception. The idea that edits shifted quietly disturbed fans more than any rumor. It suggested awareness without transparency. Networks often choose minimal exposure to limit harm. Still, audiences crave acknowledgement. When nothing arrives, imagination fills the void. What does TLC do when kids enter controversy? Historically, they reduce risk. They pull back storylines. They avoid amplification. They protect brand image first. That reality frustrates viewers who want clarity. It also reassures those who want caution. Both reactions coexist uneasily. The emotional peak did not come from new information. It came from implication. If a child might be affected, every prior scene gains weight. Every argument feels heavier. Every silence feels intentional. The show transforms from entertainment into evidence in the court of public opinion. Sit with that discomfort because it explains what comes next. Fans no longer watched forward. They watched backward. They searched for clues. They examined edits. They tracked screen time. The act of viewing changed. Passive consumption turned active investigation. That alone signals a crisis. By this point, the stakes had peaked. Not because truth emerged, but because tolerance evaporated. Audiences will forgive mess. They will debate ethics. They will argue editing. They will not ignore children. And quietly, almost invisibly, viewers began pointing out small editing choices they had missed before. Choices that suddenly looked less accidental and more deliberate. Once suspicion sets in, viewers change how they watch. They stop absorbing. They start measuring. Every cut matters. Every absence feels loud. This is where the audience turned into investigators. Fans began tracking Lisa's screen time episode by episode. Not obsessively at first, casually. Then patterns emerged. Conversations involving her ended sooner than expected. Emotional threads introduced earlier never returned. Scenes that seemed set up for payoff dissolved without resolution. No accusation needed. The structure told its own story. If you rewatched and felt something missing, you were seeing the same gaps others noticed. Promo footage became another focal point. Early teasers showed her prominently. Later promos shifted focus. Group shots lingered on other couples. Narration emphasized different arcs. Networks adjust promos constantly, but timing matters. When changes align with controversy, viewers connect dots. The edits felt cleaner, quieter, less dramatic than typical franchise chaos. Usually, tension gets milked. Here, tension vanished. That absence raised eyebrows. Drama is currency. Networks rarely give it up unless something interferes. Viewers compared this to past TLC behavior. Not scandals, just patterns. When cast members face off screen issues, networks soften exposure. They reduce confessionals. They cut reaction shots. They allow storylines to fade instead of climax. The goal is containment, not explanation. This is pattern recognition, not proof. Another clue surfaced in pacing. Episodes moved faster. Scenes jumped locations. Emotional beats lacked follow-through. It felt like rearrangement. Editing can hide without erasing. Fans familiar with post-production know how easily arcs shift. Questions multiplied. Was Lisa being eased out gradually? Did legal teams advise minimal exposure? Was the network protecting contracts by letting the season finish quietly? None of these require malice. They suggest risk management. The lack of a clear ending bothered viewers most. Reality TV thrives on closure. Breakups, resolutions, or at least final conversations. Here, threads dangled. That dangling felt intentional. Silence sometimes functions as a shield. Notice how endings disappear when stakes rise. Some fans pushed back. They warned against overreading edits. They reminded others that production schedules vary. Those cautions mattered. Still, the volume of observations stayed high. When many people notice the same absence, coincidence feels less likely. The playful side of investigation surfaced too. Side-by-side screenshots, timeline charts, promo comparisons. Fans bonded through analysis. Curiosity replaced outrage. That shift matters. It keeps discussion alive without tipping into defamation. Historically, TLC avoids public explanations during contracts. Speaking risks escalation. Silence preserves leverage. Silence also protects involved parties from further harm. At least in theory. Viewers may not like it, but it fits pattern. This is where patience runs thin, but answers stay locked. Every episode without clarity deepened speculation. Not because new facts emerged, but because closure never came. Viewers sensed an ending that never aired. The absence felt deliberate. By now, the story had inverted. What was shown mattered less than what was missing. Edits became the narrative. Silence became the signal. And in this genre, silence rarely means nothing. Silence often protects contracts. By now, the conversation had shifted from drama to responsibility. Fans weren't just talking about the shower scene anymore. Threads debated whether Lisa's behavior showed stress, emotional overload, or something deeper. People asked themselves hard questions. Could a reality show ever handle this responsibly? Did the cameras capture someone in trouble? Or did they create the trouble? The mental health angle emerged slowly. On social media, viewers questioned the balance between entertainment and care. Some argued the show exploited vulnerability. Others reminded the crowd that cast members signed contracts and agreed to filming. Both sides carried weight. The discussion wasn't about labeling anyone. It was about ethics. Notice how the conversation shifted from gossip to moral questions. Fans dissected moments with new eyes. The same scenes that were funny before now felt tense. A glare, a pause, a tear. Everything was scrutinized. People wondered if producers noticed warning signs. Were their conversations off camera? Did anyone step in? No one could say. Silence ruled again. This sparked debate over responsibility. Should TLC have acted if something was wrong? Could they have prevented harm without breaking contract rules? Or did they not know, leaving a cast member exposed unintentionally? Responsibility split across multiple layers: producers, editors, network executives. Fans weighed each possibility. Meanwhile, comparisons to other seasons surfaced. Reality TV often highlights emotional volatility. But when stress becomes apparent, networks sometimes shift focus or reduce exposure. The question became whether the threshold was crossed this time. The usual drama suddenly felt heavier. Every comment, every thread, every post made the audience rethink what they had laughed at before. The conversation wasn't just about Lisa either. It was about the system that allowed the tension to air. Fans debated whether the format inherently prioritizes ratings over well-being. Episodes designed to entertain could inadvertently showcase distress. Some argued this was the trade-off viewers accept. Others pushed back, saying some moments should never make it on screen. TLC's silence weighed heavily in these discussions. No statement, no defense, no reassurance. The network's quiet became a magnet for speculation. If they knew something, fans assumed discretion or damage control. If they knew nothing, fans assumed misjudgment in casting and oversight. Either scenario prompted unease. People started asking themselves what the real cost of reality TV fame is. Debates also touched on the audience's role. Were viewers complicit in enjoying moments that might have caused harm? Could laughter or curiosity cross an ethical line when someone's vulnerability is on display? The comments reflected both empathy and frustration. Social media became a forum for reflection rather than mockery. At the same time, some tried to separate entertainment from ethics. They reminded others that editing can exaggerate or distort reality. A single moment on screen might not reflect the full story. Yet even with these caveats, the scenes carried new weight. Fans began questioning how much responsibility the network had to moderate what appeared on camera. The mental health discussion wasn't about judgment, it was about perspective, about recognizing human behavior under stress and considering what it means to put it in a public forum for millions to consume. The question lingered longer than any plot twist or argument between cast members. By the end of these debates, what had started as entertainment became a question of morality. Ultimately, viewers asked whether the show crossed a line. Did it simply follow a flawed emotional story? Or did it venture into territory too sensitive for broadcast? The discussion stayed unresolved, just like many of Lisa's story threads. It reminded everyone that reality TV carries consequences beyond drama and ratings. By the time the latest episode aired, the pattern was clear. Fans weren't laughing anymore. Every glance, every argument, every tear was scrutinized. Lisa had stopped being just a cast member. She had become a symbol, not of scandal, not of gossip, but of the fragile trust between a network and its audience. Viewers were watching 90 Day Fiancé the way you watch a show after hearing a rumor, alert, suspicious, and unwilling to ignore red flags. The franchise itself started to feel different. Moments that used to feel light or predictable now carried weight. Audiences remembered the shower scene, the clipped edits, the silence. They recalled allegations from social media posts, the sudden drop in screen time, and promo footage that hinted at tension but revealed nothing. Each of these fragments reinforced the same idea: the story behind the story might be bigger than any episode. Fans realized that some gaps aren't accidental, they're telling. This shift didn't happen overnight. It built quietly, layer by layer. Early episodes framed Lisa as hopeful, funny, even relatable. Then one awkward moment, captured on camera, ignited speculation. That moment alone changed how viewers approached the rest of the season. They started scanning interactions, rewatching scenes, and comparing edits to earlier seasons. The audience became detectives. Suspicion replaced amusement. Curiosity turned into unease. Meanwhile, social media buzz revealed a subtle fracture in fan trust. Comments stopped being about who did what and started asking bigger questions. Can we trust what the show presents? How much of this is production shaping reality versus showing it? Is the network prioritizing drama over safety? Every thread, every comment reinforced the sense that TLC's handling of this season might be hiding more than it reveals. Audiences began measuring silence itself as a clue. Lisa's story, once just one of many, now served as a litmus test for the franchise. Her treatment highlighted a potential pattern. When tension escalates, networks sometimes rely on editing and quiet adjustments rather than open communication. Fans noticed. The lack of clear answers made speculation feel reasonable. With each unanswered question, the show transformed from casual entertainment to a subtle study in network ethics and audience trust. At the same time, franchise fatigue became apparent. Longtime viewers started questioning familiar formats. They wondered if moments previously accepted as harmless might carry real consequences. The same mechanics that once delivered entertainment, the cliffhangers, the dramatic reactions, the editing choices, now raised concerns. Suspense was still there, but it no longer felt safe. Trust became the real storyline. This wasn't just about one person, one episode, or even one season. The ripple effects stretched across the entire franchise. Fans were more alert, more critical, more hesitant to accept what they saw at face value. Lisa's situation crystallized the underlying tension. Reality TV promises drama, but viewers now demand responsibility. That tension is what made her arc and the network's response so compelling and so uneasy. Producers faced a choice. Do they address the silence, clarify events, or let speculation build? Each option carried risk. The show's future seasons now hang in the balance. Viewer engagement may remain high, but skepticism has taken root. Ratings alone might not sustain trust, and that's a challenge no reality format has faced so openly before. Every edit, every cut, every pause on screen is now weighed against this invisible standard. Even with everything discussed, something remains unclear. The most critical parts of this story, the full behind-the-scenes context, the decisions, the consequences, have not fully emerged on camera. Fans are left piecing together fragments, weighing speculation, and questioning where the line between entertainment and ethical oversight truly lies. Lisa may have been the lens through which viewers saw the issues, but the franchise itself is under scrutiny. What happens next will define whether trust can be restored or if suspicion will linger across future seasons. And somewhere in the edits yet to air, the real story might finally start to show. Right now, the story remains unresolved. No firing has been confirmed. No official statement from TLC has emerged. For fans, that uncertainty is heavier than any headline could be. When the network says nothing, every pause, every missing scene, every altered promo becomes a story in itself. Silence has a strange power. It lets the mind fill gaps, and fans are doing exactly that. Every skipped scene, every clipped interaction suddenly carries meaning, whether intended or not. When the truth is unclear, speculation becomes the main event. This isn't just curiosity, it's emotional investment. People remember the shower scene, the unusual reactions, and the tension that followed. They notice the patterns, reduced screen time, storylines that vanish, shifts in editing tone. Fans are reading between lines and watching for clues the network didn't announce. That engagement feels more intense than a simple plot twist. It's a puzzle they are desperate to solve. Even more, the stakes feel higher because it involves ethics and responsibility. Alleged family issues, questions about mental health, concerns for a child, these elements make it impossible for audiences to treat this like typical reality TV drama. Viewers are no longer laughing or rolling their eyes. They're questioning, judging, and worrying. That emotional weight keeps attention locked, and it forces TLC to navigate carefully. Uncertainty creates tension networks can't easily control. At the same time, fans are learning to spot subtle signals. Editing changes, promo timing, quiet story shifts, all of these hint at decisions happening behind the scenes. Whether the network is acting cautiously, responding to internal issues, or managing legal risk, audiences now notice patterns they would have missed before. That awareness is reshaping how 90 Day Fiancé is consumed. It's no longer just entertainment, it's a study in observation, interpretation, and inference. And yet, the real question remains, what does TLC know? And when did they know it? Did the network recognize a risk and try to contain it quietly? Or did events unfold in a way that left everyone scrambling, leaving fans to connect the dots themselves? Every unanswered question adds another layer of tension, and that tension keeps eyes glued to the screen. Fans now watch for patterns, not just personalities. This is where the story becomes larger than Lisa. She is the lens. But the issue is systemic, how TLC handles cast dynamics, sensitive personal matters, and public perception. The quiet exits, the muted promotion, and selective editing are all part of a framework viewers are beginning to read almost like a code. Each season teaches audiences to watch differently, think harder, and question more deeply. So, even without a confirmed firing or a public statement, this story does not end quietly. Every clip, every post, every subtle shift in editing keeps the conversation alive. Fans are tracking, comparing, and waiting for the next reveal. This ongoing uncertainty has created a new kind of suspense, one that no staged drama could replicate. The silence is louder than any announcement could ever be. And as the franchise moves forward, the stakes remain high. Every cast member, every scene, every edit is now filtered through a lens of scrutiny. Viewers are conditioned to ask, is this entertainment? Or is this something deeper? Was this carefully managed? Or is it evidence of an internal scramble? The questions are endless, and that's exactly what keeps the audience hooked. Next, we'll look at another cast situation where silence and editing shifts hint at bigger stories behind the scenes. Patterns are emerging, and the way TLC handles them could redefine how fans watch the show entirely. Something is happening off camera, and fans are already noticing.